Dan, 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 ba, ba, dan, 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 dan. Kilted balls.
Oops.
Woo!
I tried to work one more in there.
Man. You know, I was just thinking, I'm like, man, I'm not drinking anything. I don't have any water or any pop. And then I realized there's always a little something on the desk.
You always have some Jameson there, so
There's always some Jameson. So, Jameson, if you want to sponsor us, there's always
yeah,
Jameson sitting on
yeah,
the
that would
desk.
be awesome.
It's the whiskey of all podcasters,
Mm-hmm.
if they're cool. If they're cool podcasters.
Yes, that's true.
It's like
I
a
guess
thing.
only half of us are cool. I don't have any Jameson within reach.
Yeah, you gotta
But
keep it in reach.
although I do feel like I'm a little cooler. I'm a little cooler. I have a huge announcement for anyone who's not paying attention. And it
Yeah.
really only well, in theory, it affects 555 people, but it's probably only going to be about 100 people. So, any
Probably
new
just a
listeners?
hundred.
Any new listeners? I do have the V
Oh no, it looks like we just lost
Gift
Kilted.
8.
Oh, there he is.
Oh no. Where did you lose me?
And for all the listeners, are you watching me?
Okay, cool. So
So
not too
that's
far. I'm
what we
gonna
got.
disconnect to the Discord, so that could be hurting a little bit. I do have the V friend gift goat. Gina has one. Oh, again. You're there though.
As soon as you did this, as soon as you went, it goes.
See, you're there the whole time. I don't.
You
Yeah,
do
this
you
is going to be
wanna
a
do you wanna
tough
know why I'm
episode.
here the whole time?
Uh,
If you want to have a podcast where you stay
good idea.
connected, don't forget your Jameson.
Uh, see, that time you actually froze up a little bit.
Sure I did. Sure I did.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
so
gift 8,
gift
gift
go
8,
8.
gift go 8. We don't know what the NFTs or anything are going to be, but it is an experience, which Gary Vee talked about. Could be physical or did you lose me again? Started laughing.
and then and then
Uh,
and then
I get to go to Atlanta and hang out with Gary and Shaq.
nice. That's
So
pretty doggone cool.
it's
Pretty doggone cool.
pretty cool. So we have to RSVP, and you can't transfer it. It's only the gift goat holder. There's no +1. Like if Gina's wasn't in her wallet, I wouldn't be able to bring her.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, it's who the gift is registered to.
That
And
is, I think that's super awesome. I mean, one that you're gonna get a chance to hang out with Gary Vee, which is pretty cool.
mm-hmm,
As always, right? Like maybe you'll get another picture with him, which is sweet.
yep.
I imagine he will, right? Like he's gonna be like, hey, all 555 of you, we're getting a picture. But you also get to hang with Shaq, which everything I've seen on Shaq is pretty freaking amazing. So
Yeah, he
except
seems like a
except
really
for his
cool guy.
free throws, right?
Yeah, maybe there'll be a free throw contest.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, it'd be so funny. If Shaq did that, he would be the GOAT,
That'd
right?
be awesome. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. That is next month. It's on a Wednesday, so we'll be recording the day before.
Oh my gosh, that's right. We'll record the
Hmm.
day before. We might have to do a recording right after. And Atlanta, that's kind of a fun trip.
Yeah, we have to decide what's going on, if one of us are going, or if Ali's missing 2 days of school, or a sitter. I believe that we're both going to try to go. That's what Gina and I have talked about. We haven't figured out what is going on with Ali and his school. May have a field trip, and just because he would, I mean, it's 2:30 to 5, so he's missing Tuesday, and if we stay the night, he's missing Wednesday. I don't know, but
Yeah.
it's like one day that he'd have to miss.
And you know what? If you got to miss to go to Atlanta, rough. rough.
Yeah, I'm thankful it's 4 hours away. I mean, if it was further, I'd try to figure it out. But I mean, just in the Gift to Go Discord, people are talking about while I'm in, halfway around the world to come in for a Wednesday,
Yeah,
2:30 to 5 is going to be tricky.
but they're doing it.
No, well, someone said they're getting tickets. I don't know. I don't follow that close. More
Yeah,
of a creeper.
nice.
You probably noticed that on our
I
Discord
mean,
too.
you're a bit of a lurker. You're a bit of a lurker on any Discord, even your own Discord. You are a bit of a lurker.
Um,
So,
something else, something that we talk about things happen for a reason, and
mhm.
sometimes sometimes you don't. And I don't know if these other things happen for this reason, but Gina and I found an aquarium store. We went over there. It was really cool. We were talking to the guy, and this was last week. Found something cool that we liked. We picked it up from him and talked to him a little bit more, and come to find out that her brother knows the guy pretty well, goes in there a lot. So we're jibber
Oh,
jabbering about it. And then, I mean, it wasn't a huge store, it was a smaller store. And just, I mean, for whatever reason, we just missed it. It's actually on our path of where we go a lot. So, and his prices were really good too. So it was like, okay, cool. We'll have to start swinging by and saying hi to this guy. And like 2 days later, something, I don't know what's up, but something's up, and he's like, hey, I'm going out of business. I'm just keeping the web and the aquarium service. And if anyone wants a turnkey, hit me up, let's talk. So I'm gonna go over there tomorrow and talk to him. And that could be, oh, you froze up. That could be, one reason why I didn't get the other job, because I probably wouldn't have gone over there.
right,
I don't know what he's looking for. I mean, he might just be, I mean, who knows? I have no idea.
right, right. No idea at all. Um, and
Maybe we'll
listeners,
have an
sorry that
update.
he's frozen. Oh, there he's back.
Oh man, I'm gonna go over there next week. I'm gonna go over there next week or tomorrow and talk to him, and we'll update
So
everyone next
where's it
week.
at? Can you give? I mean, if you don't want to give
It's
us
in
the location,
no,
I
it's
mean,
in Belmont, so it's in a suburb of
he's definitely saying a town right now.
Belmont.
Oh, okay.
Just- this is gonna
this
be
this is might be one of our best episodes ever. Might be one of our best episodes.
it's gonna be Interrupted Incorporated.
Interrupted Incorporated. So episode interrupted. It's hopefully spelled wrong. So I'm having an interesting discussion. So I know we're not talking a lot of crypto today, people, and I kind of apologize, but it's an entrepreneurial podcast, right? So
hmm
that's kind of the jam, and we take lots of different paths, not just NFTs and crypto. Um, I think you owning an aquarium store. Can you give me to your new property or the warehouse? How far is it
Um, yeah, it'd be like 45 minutes.
to both?
Oh, because you said new property. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
So
sorry.
I think it's a half hour. It'd be about like half hour from the new property and like
Okay.
45 minutes to the warehouse.
And you'd have a turnkey aquarium store. I'm sure he is saying yes right now, my listeners. So sorry for our technical difficulties. I
Yeah,
think they're having a
that
lot
was
of
a
trouble.
long one.
That was a long one. That was a long one. So it's an aquarium store, right?
It is a saltwater and coral store.
Still cool. But you
Yeah.
can make it whatever you want. It'd be your,
Yeah, we would bring fresh water in.
yeah.
Um, that we've talked about growing out corals and wholesaling them, stuff like that.
Hmm.
So that's kind of been an idea that we've had, and so it kind of plays along with that,
Yeah.
just sooner than what we imagined.
Right. Well, and that's kind of how we move, right?
Yeah.
Things just kind of fall in our laps and then we just go and it is what it is. And sometimes they work and sometimes they don't. So we've been having an interesting conversation on this end a couple different times. Um, in one of my wife's jobs, and we've interviewed Amy before with all
hmm
of her stuff. And in one of hers that she talked about, she works for a real estate developer and he's getting on in years, right? And oh, lions, nice. That's
Mm.
always Amy's favorite. Anyway, he's getting on in years, and so he's been having a little trouble, like a letting go of the business,
Yeah.
right? Because it's all he's ever known, and two, just making decisions. It's been kind of funky, right? And it's been causing her tremendous amounts of stress. And we've talked about lots of things. He's often said to her, you should take the business, but then nothing ever materializes, right? And it's rough because she doesn't want the business.
Yeah.
Like real estate's not her jam, real estate's my jam. And I've teased her before because he is subconsciously misogynistic.
Hmm.
Not like outwardly, but it's there because of his generation, right? And so a joke that we've had running for a long time is you should just tell him I'll take over the company. I go because he'll be so excited that it's a man, he'll just do it and not like think it through that it's actually you, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like he won't make that connection. And so he was in town recently and they went out to lunch and they're like talking and stuff. And, again, he was like, I need to get out of this. I need to leave this. And she's like, yes, you do. And, he's like, I wish you could run it. I wish this or this. And she's like, she goes, I'm not suggesting anything. She goes, but he could retire and take over your business. And he's like, oh, that would be amazing. That would be amazing. We should do that. Like, that'd be so cool. And he was like, just giddy as a schoolgirl. She said
Hmm.
at the idea. And I was like, well, let's work that out. And she's like, no. She's like, no, let's not. And I'm like, okay. I'm, I'm like, we could. Like, that could be our next step in our journey. Not me retiring. Like, that's asinine, right? Like, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if you were
You don't think?
frozen
I mean,
there or actually real.
she could do the same thing she's doing now, and you can make the decisions that he's making.
Well, and that's what I told her. She was like the other day we were talking about it over dinner, and I was like, listen, I like to start with, I'm like, once spring hits and I'm kind of in my less busy season, I'm like, I could work there like 2 hours a day, learning what he does, figuring it out, getting trained. You know what I mean? Just doing the thing.
Yeah.
And she's like, I don't want you as my boss. And I'm like, in what world do you think I would be your boss? Right? You froze.
You're like,
You froze like this.
I'm gonna have to watch this episode.
It's gonna be so funny. But anyway, she's like, I don't want you as my boss. I'm like, why would I be your boss? And she's like, well, because he's
Yeah.
my boss. I'm like, right, but I wouldn't be. That's him. I would be there to make the decisions he would make. You're the financial guru. And she's like, well, you never listen to me anyway. You don't take orders. And I was like, tell me when I've defied one of your financial orders. I go, it's not that
Yeah.
I don't listen to you, it's that we both have our expertise. And if you're talking about my expertise, I
Hmm.
don't listen to you. I go, when you're talking about your expertise, like financial decisions, I go, I do everything you say. And she's like, well, that is true. And I'm like, right, because
Hmm.
you're the financial guru. I have to listen to that. Right. And I go,
Hmm.
I'm really good about deferring to other people's skills. So I'm like, I don't know why that would change. I go, in fact, you would probably be my boss. And she goes, I don't know if I could work with you. I'm like, here's the thing. I go, you work there 1 day a week. I'm like, I'm saying I would work there a couple hours each day. I just won't go there the day you're there. I'm
Hmm.
like, but all of the stuff that he should have been doing for the last like 2 or 3 years, you could have me come in and do.
Yeah, because some stuff is getting neglected. You've talked about that
Yes,
before on the
yes, things are
episodes.
getting neglected, and I'm like, I go, I don't know what that would be. Like maybe it would require me getting my real estate license or getting my brokerage license or who knows. But I'm
Hmm.
like, I'm willing to do that. And my issue was for her, and this happens to people, so it's important, listeners, that you get this. She's trapped there.
Hmm.
I I would not be, right? I'm totally capable of saying see ya and ditching people or jobs or whatever. Like I have no issue with that. She can't, right? She cares too much. So she's trapped there. She feels like she can't leave. She won't get out. And I'm like, okay, well, if you feel like you can't leave, then we have to flip the script and make it so it's exactly like you want it to be.
Yeah.
So I go, and I can help with that. I go, that's my strength is turning people's visions into reality. So let me help. And she's like, I don't know.
That'll be interesting. I'm super excited for you.
Wouldn't that be a really cool thing? I think that'd be
Mhm.
like super cool. I see your belly. You're not frozen now.
Would you have to retire though?
No, that's what I'm saying. I would just work like a couple hours,
Yeah.
right? Like
You
I'm
can,
like,
you might retire from coaching.
right. Like maybe if it took off. That's why I would start like in the spring. And what I told her
Mhm.
is I'm like, how much time does he put in? And I
Yeah.
go, so if I'm putting in 2 hours a day for 4 or 5 days a week, that's an infinite amount more time than he's doing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, even just doing that. And I go, and if it's something where then I decide I don't want to coach or anything, we can take that off the table. If we decide, you know what, maybe it's time I leave education and go do that, that's an option too.
Yeah.
But I'm not suggesting that. What I'm suggesting is let's make this how you want it to be
Mm-hmm.
and let me be the conduit to allowing that to happen. Right.
Yes.
Like let me be that focal point. And it's not like it's fast, right? Like I said, I go, I can't do anything till the spring, right? I'm fully
Mm-hmm.
committed all the way through spring. I'm not going to have time, but we can start working on that transition. That's not something that happens in a day or a week anyway.
Yeah.
So we could start. And she was like, we really should go down to his house and like stay a weekend and talk about this. I'm like, right. We need to talk when he's lucid in the morning and when I'm like at my best, which is the morning. I'm like, we need to go and meet up. And he's always wanted us to visit. I'm like, and we need to go down there and hang out and see what we can do
Yeah.
before, it gets all ruined.
Yeah.
And for me, the plus is, and I've told her this before, is I've always wanted to do that. And he even said, he goes, let's get you guys buying more property.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, we've been talking about selling the rentals and getting out of that. And he's like, that's perfect. Get rid of them. Let's get you into commercial. Let's get that done. And so I'm
Yeah.
like, he wants to help. He wants to have
Mm-hmm.
somebody to mentor. So I'm like, let's do that. Let's let him mentor. Let's help fix the business. Not that it's bad, but right,
Mm-hmm.
things are falling through the cracks because you don't have that leader. And so I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, let's fix that. Let's get that done. And we can start working with that too, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if we end up buying a whole bunch of commercial real estate, that wouldn't be bad either.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
So yeah, lots of entrepreneurial stuff, friends. Lots of
Yeah.
entrepreneurial stuff.
There are a lot of like exciting stuff just out in the ether. Like,
Right.
some of it's gonna get grabbed and some of it's not.
That's
So,
totally good. That's
and
totally good.
for me, I'm just because I've been thinking about the store for a couple days,
Yeah.
and his hour, it's I think Wednesday through Sunday, 11 to 5, I think are the hours he's open right now. So even if I
Nice.
just kept the hours like that, but
That would be
we'll cross
amazing.
that bridge.
Yeah, for sure.
I can easily do orders in the morning and be there by 11.
Oh
Easy.
yeah. Yeah. No, it sounds like a pretty cool thing. I hope it works out,
Yeah. I mean, I want to find out what he's paying for rent, when
Mhm.
his lease is up, just little things like that, like what he wants for everything, like if it's going to be a turnkey,
Right. I
even though, oh, you're frozen.
Oh, I thought you were frozen.
Hmm.
You can keep going.
No, it's frozen.
I'm frozen now.
No, you're there now.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, listeners, Jason, I hope you're enjoying this. I hope you're enjoying
We don't know who the other five are.
We don't know who the other five are, but Jason, I'm confident you're one of them. So nice job.
No, Panda Man is on there quite a bit.
No
Thank you,
way,
Panda Man.
really? Panda Man, I love you, man. I haven't been on the Discord much, right? We're starting to kick into my busy season, but um, you know, I miss you.
Isn't it
So
Panda Man who's on there?
I don't know.
Someone from the 8.1. I was thinking it was Panda Man.
Oh, it
I hope I'm
probably
not
is.
mistaken.
Probably is.
But yeah.
So the last big thing I wanted to talk about was we are approaching the end of the month of our new strategy,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so I kind of wanted to just give people like an update. We've got 3 more days, right? 30 days, half September. So it's the 27th, so 28, 29, 30. We got 3 days to the month, and it's working and it's not,
Mm-hmm.
right? Here's the thing. I really don't feel like I can make a statement on how it's working right now. Like, don't you feel the same? Like, even after a whole month, I'm like, is it? Is it not?
I I think it is. I think the big lessons that we're learning this month is that we're trying to make it so you're not really thinking about it.
Yeah.
And for me, the mistakes that I'm making are when I'm thinking about it and when I'm trying to do things.
Yes.
So I don't know. I'm fully prepared on the 1st of October. I'm gonna put higher amounts in.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put higher amounts in, and I'm gonna have that extra set aside for a day where nothing happens to put in the extra, like we've talked about a
Okay.
little
That
bit.
was something that I wondered because that's the simulation showed that, and we have not been doing that.
I did it one day. I did
And
it one day last week.
was it good or was it bad?
I think I want to say it ended up positive.
Okay. Okay. So here's the thing, peeps. We're not going to go into the strategy very much, but as of right now, I'm up 10% on the month.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's fine. That's fine, but it's not great. The parts that I like about the strategy is I'm always winning. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm always winning, and that feels good. And you may say, well, if you're always winning, how are you up 10%? Well, because I lose a lot too. So I'm not always losing. The strategy has losing built into it. It's part of the strategy.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not always losing, but I'm for sure always winning. And the
Yes.
other thing that's been really nice about the strategy is when I lose, it's not like a kick in the nuts loss. So when we were playing futures before, when we lost, it hurt. It would hurt so bad we would stop trading. We'd like shut down KuCoin and
Mm-hmm.
not open again, right? Like we'd be
Mm-hmm.
like, fuck this, we're done. And I'm not having any of those, right? So I had a loss today. It was like, what did I tell you? $20 max.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, ah, shoot, I lost $20. Okay. Like, that's not much. I spend that when I go get fast food. So,
Yeah.
like, I'm like, it's $20, right? Now, granted, that adds up. But so the good part of the strategy right now is you're always winning. So you
Yeah.
always have a win, and that's nice. It's nice to always have a win.
Yeah, it's
And
super
and it,
awesome.
and if you're like, really? Yeah, you're guaranteed. We've had one time and it was a mistake where we didn't win,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um and it was just strictly a mistake that was made. If we had not made the mistake, we would have won on that day too. So
Yeah.
that's the good part of the strategy is we're always winning. We're taking losses too, so it's not working out. And it needs to be, I think, fine tuned. And you're right. One of the things that we have realized, and this month has been a testing month. So
Mm-hmm.
on paper, the strategy looked good. The problem is, and it's the same thing, it's the reason why this is going to work and it's going to be great. We're the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And removing us The more I've removed me, the better I've done. It's when I start trying to think that things have been bad. And
Mm-hmm.
that's hard. It's hard to give up that feeling of control, which is the whole reason we're doing this, is because we felt we had no control anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So why not just give up that illusion? And it's so hard to give up that illusion of
Mm-hmm.
control. So
Mm-hmm.
I still like look at it and like today, today would be a great example. Today I'm doing it and I'm doing my strategy and it's all good. And then I'm like, hey, is this a Bart Simpson?
And it was.
It totally was a Bart Simpson. And did it
Mhm.
go up like it was supposed to?
No, it went down. It was a 15-minute Bart Simpson, right?
Yeah, 15-minute Bart Simpson. And
Um,
I think it went
oh, I'm
up and
sorry,
then
the
it
one
went,
hour.
I was doing the 15-minute and I think the 15-minute went up and right back down. Yeah.
Okay, I'm looking at the 1 hour.
Okay, I was looking at the
Oh,
15-minute.
yep, the 15-minute, same thing. That's a Bart Simpson for sure.
Right? It was a nice, beautiful Bart Simpson, huge Bart Simpson, not
Mm-hmm.
like little, huge. But it went from, what did it go? One, two, three. So it probably went up 1 or 2%, which is what you need, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if I had pulled along, I would have made money there. I did not pull along because that's the entire point of what we're doing,
Mm-hmm.
is not to. Now, I wasn't going to open my strategy there mainly because I didn't know, like, was it going to keep going red? Was it going to all of a sudden spike back green? And because I started to think, and this is like I said, people, this is the hard part of the strategy. As soon as I started to go, ooh, is that a Bart Simpson? Is it going to go up? Is it going to go down? I walked away because I was starting to put me in it, and I'm the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as I started to think, I said, I'm out, and I walked away from the computer or
That's
the phone,
awesome.
right? Because I'm like, that's the problem. If I'm thinking about it now, if I wanted to open a futures, which I almost did, I was like, I'm going to open an ETH futures, and that would have been great. I probably would have made 10%, and it would have been
Mm-hmm.
fun. But for this, I was like, nope. The whole point, if I'm starting to think, that means I shouldn't be doing it,
Yeah,
right?
that's awesome.
Yeah. I wish I had that kind of control most of the time. So I do not. I do not. But yeah, so people, it's interesting. I'm excited to share it with you.
Mm-hmm.
When we're going good. Right now it's going okay. 10% is nothing to be sad about. We've got
Yeah.
3 more days. We could lose that 10%. We could take that 10% to 30 or 40% in those 3 days. We'll see. Um, I think there's tweaks to this
Yep.
that would make it so much better. I also think because the strategy was not designed with bots and we're using bots, it needs lots of tweaks.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't I think kind of the point is to make it as painless as you can. So, it's got some deets to work out. That's why we're not sharing it. It's got a lot of details to work out.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're like, oh, but am I missing money? You're not, right? Like we made 10%. We're not making 10x's, right?
Yeah. And especially in the market right now. I mean, and that's what we will figure out too. Like, my big mistake, which has put me in the negative this month, was I made a mistake. There was something that I was supposed to do and I didn't do it, and it was a crazy day. And yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm negative, and I've been working that back.
right.
But if it wasn't for that, I'd be actually way up.
Yeah, that is, you just read my mind. I was about to ask you, if you took out that day, can you give us like a guesstimate how far up you'd be?
Yeah. If I took out that day, I would be up over 20%.
And honestly, people, if you're up 20% over a month, you're doing things right.
Yeah.
You're doing things right.
That's why I mean I'm not going to put money in the middle of the month because this is a test
Hmm.
and we have to see it, but I'm confident to put money in for the beginning of the next month. and
Because
say,
it's an
okay.
easy mistake to fix, right? That's like
Yes,
an
very
easy
easy.
mistake to fix, and then you stick with the strategy, and hopefully it does great. Now, not to our listeners and not to get into too much detail, how religious are you about doing things like in the morning?
Very. I don't pee before I check everything
Oh, wow, you're hardcore.
because I have to turn off my alarm. So I walk to my desk, I turn off my alarm, I check everything, I open bots if I'm opening bots,
Mm-hmm.
and
Okay,
then I go pee.
nice. So my mine is similar. I go pee, and while I'm going pee, I look, and then I kind of go with my gut whether to open the bots right then or not. And so if I have too much weird feelings, I set my entry prices. So that's something I've been doing a lot.
hmm
Or if I'm like, ooh, this is weird, I set it down and take my shower, and then I come out and set my bots.
Yeah.
Right. So I let
See,
it marinate a little
I
bit.
try to take the feels out of it. Although some mornings I don't want to, but I do.
Right.
I'm
Right.
like, this is bad to do this right now. But that's me.
Right. Right.
And
Everybody's
sometimes, well, like the one morning, I opened mine up at 6. You opened yours up after the shower, and I had already closed mine
yes.
and opened
Yes.
again.
And opened again. Right. So you did really good that time.
hmm
And then there's been times where we've been stopped. Like
Yeah.
it all depends, and it depends on how you're doing it, right?
hmm
And I've had times where I've done the same thing where I've opened before the shower and I've made my money by the time I've got out,
hmm
right? And then I get to open more, right? So that's a good thing. So that's it's fun. It's a real interesting thing, friends, and I'm hoping we get to share it with you and get all the kinks out because
I think by the end of next month, we'll have a much better
I really
layout.
feel like we're on to something, don't you?
I
I
do. I
feel
really do.
I feel like it's not doing precisely what I wanted, but it's feeling good. It's feeling good,
Mhm.
right? I
If you can
really
teach, if you can teach somebody to make 10% each month,
people want to make 10% a year.
hmm
10% a month is
hmm
pretty darn good,
hmm
right? If you're
like I'm going
making
to give you a hug when I see you for coming up with this. Teach me how to make 10% a month.
right, it's not a bad thing, is it? Right? Making 10% a month. So without doing anything, that's probably the best part. Like I don't know if you all caught that, right? He said he has to be out of the equation. So you
Yeah.
aren't doing anything in this strategy. That's literally how the strategy works.
In theory, it should only take 5 minutes a day, 6 a.m. to 6:05. Or
Eh,
that because I wake up at 6.
Right, right. I actually changed my alarm to 5:55 so I
hmm
could do things at 6. But what I found is especially like on the weekends, I'm not getting up at 6, right?
No, on the
So
weekends, it's just when I wake up, I check it
yes,
first thing.
whenever it gets up. And the funny thing is this actually gets my ass out of bed, right? So like I'll wake up, like my alarm will go off, and a lot of times I'll be like, no, not today. And I'll swipe it, and then it'll like go off again like at 6:05, and I'm like, I gotta check, I gotta check the bots, gotta
Mhm.
make the donuts, right? And so then I get up, and a lot of times I'll wake up before my alarm, like, ooh, I need to go check my stuff, which is
That's
funny,
awesome.
like, right? Like it's funny how you are, how people are. So
hmm
so yeah, good times, baby, good times.
Heck yeah.
So
Well, good
yeah,
episode.
thanks. And thanks for all the craziness, people, and for sticking through all of this. And if you're like laughing and going, man, why didn't they edit this? Because that's not how we roll, bitches. Right? You get the
We're
natural, unfiltered.
we're the Ed Woods of the podcasting
We
YouTube
are.
community.
We are. All for one. God bless them. They do a great job, and they have like all that professional equipment. Crypto lifer, you're amazing with all of your equipment, your sweet ass mic, and your $10 billion laptop, right? But over here at Kilted Balls, right? We wear the kilt because we can't afford the underwear. So,
Might have to put my kilt on tomorrow. Oh, it's
oh
getting cold
man,
down here.
yeah. It's again. I have Italian right now that I'm dealing with, and we hit 50 the other day. He's like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Boy, he ain't seen nothing." He's like, "Why are we
Yeah.
running in 50 degrees?"
Yeah. It was mid-50s today.
Oh man, we were getting cold. Yesterday, people were looking at me. It was about 53 and it was misting pretty hard. A nice Irish
Mhm.
mist come down slightly at an angle. And I'm out in my like shirt and tie. And there's like all these people with like winter hats on and winter coats. And they're like, "Aren't you freezing?" I'm like, "Aren't you dying? Like it's 53 degrees and you're like in a ski coat. Like, what is wrong with you?" They're like, "You're getting soaked." I'm like, "It's like barely misting." I'm like, "It's fine." Like, you guys are weirdos. Amy said people are just weak. I'm like, I guess so.
That's true.
People are getting weaker. I mean, I was chilly by the time I got home, but then the bean soup tasted so good, right? Because I was chilly already. So,
Hmm.
good times. Well, people, I want to thank you for joining us. We've stretched this episode out pretty long. Hopefully, you learned some stuff and got to see the insights into what we're doing. And yeah, this is Ballbuster signing off.
Kilted Dragon Jer, love you all.